Hello there, this is Brett Lonsdale, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to add Social Squared to a new SharePoint team site. So if you're wondering how to add Social Squared to Microsoft Teams, we're going to be covering that in a later video, but for this one we're going to be taking a look at SharePoint. So first of all, what we're going to do is go ahead and create a brand new SharePoint site. So in here we're going to go into the SharePoint at the very top. I'm going to hit Create Site, and inside here I'm going to choose a team site. And we can give this site a name, and I'm just going to call this discussions. Obviously this could be sales discussions, marketing discussions, whatever you want it to be. And in here we're going to select next and add some members, and those members are going to be people that of course will gain access to the SharePoint site, but will also be able to use Social Squared as well for their conversations. They won't have as many rights as you do because you're the owner of the site and you'll have full control over Social Squared, but they will be able to create topics, reply to topics, and so on. So in here I'm just going to add a couple of users, and this is effectively where the user management is for Social Squared. It's through SharePoint. So all of the authentication, all of the permissions, that's all handled through the SharePoint site, or of course Microsoft Teams as well. So we've got a brand new SharePoint site here, and what I'm going to do is just close out the Start Designing Your Site dialog, and we could simply go in and change the look as well. So I'm going to go away from this red and maybe go to the blue. So we'll save that. And in here I can now make a decision as to where I want to put my Social Squared web part. So I could put it on the home page. If I wanted to put it on the home page, I just hit edit, and that puts the page into edit mode. And you'll notice that once it's in edit mode, where I move my mouse, I get the add new web part to column name, and as I click that, you'll see that Social Squared is one of the web parts that I can add. Now what I prefer to do, and this doesn't necessarily have to be what you want to do, is I prefer to actually add a page so that I've got lots of space for Social Squared for those discussions, and people can take full advantage of it. It is a responsive UI, but it's helpful to have lots of space when you are using it. So I'm going to add a page here to my SharePoint site, and I'm going to choose a blank page, and of course you could spend some time choosing a nice graphic and so on. I'm just going to call this here discussion boards, and you can put on subject name, whatever that subject name might be, and in here we can now add Social Squared. Now this is the first time that I've added Social Squared to this SharePoint site, and therefore it is going to go through and provision some lists. So you'll notice that when I hit the add web part, it's going through and creating these lists here. So there's a SS posts, there's an SS topics, and so on. And these are all hidden lists. You're not going to see these by going into the site contents and so on. But they are there to actually store some of the Social Squared configuration and also some of the Social Squared content as well. So that's it. It's now created. If you were to add Social Squared to this site again on a different page, it's going to use the same lists that are already provisioned inside this SharePoint site. And just in case you're wondering about where your data is stored and so on, you've just seen it. It's in your site, which is inside of your Microsoft 365 tenant, protected by whatever authentication you have configured and whatever permissions you have configured. So the only two people that could access this site at the moment is Demo User 5 and Demo User 6, and also the account that I'm signed in as, which has created this instance of Social Squared. Okay, so that is Social Squared ready to go. You're now in a position to start creating your forum groups and your forums. We're going to have a video on that as well, so that's the third video in this series. So make sure you take a look at that video, but just to get you started, if you're wondering, you hit the ellipsis in the top left hand corner here and click forum settings, and in there is where you can start adding your forum groups and so on, but we'll get to that in a later video. Okay, many thanks.